Hi everyone, how's everyone doing today? It is Sunday, October 15th. It is 3 o'clock p.m. and I thank you for joining me for our weekly Talk with the Doc session. I am Dr. Nicole, your board certified family physician. I specialize in managing, treating, and preventing chronic medical conditions and explaining those conditions to people in terms that they can understand. I help pastors who are overstretched, overworked, to overcome and be better equipped to handle everything that's coming at them and be more involved and better able to equip themselves to help with impacting their communities, their congregations, and everyone around them. I thank you for joining me in today. I'm going to wait just a few moments and let some folks join in. It's 3:02, so I'll wait just another minute, let some folks join in. Today, we're going to talk about insomnia. I had something else to talk about, but I got a request this week, actually from a pastor who I treat, and they were talking about all of the other pastors and people that they know who deal with insomnia. So they wanted me to give some information and some tips on what is insomnia and how can we better treat insomnia and how do we deal with that. All right. So we'll just wait a few more moments, let some folks join in, enjoy these smooth sounds. Music is a great way to help people relax. Relaxation is a lot of what is involved when you're dealing with insomnia. People just can't quiet their minds down long enough to relax, right? All right, so we're just going to wait a few more moments and let some folks join in. When you join in, please leave a comment or leave your name. Just say hello so I know you're here so that I can say hi to you. All right, I thank you all for joining me today. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, just waiting a few more moments. Let some folks join in. It is a lovely day here in South Carolina. Just having a great day. It's beautiful. The weather is nice. It's just been a wonderful day. It's been a wonderful day. Just inviting some folks in. All right. I love this song by Mr. Alpheus Anderson. All right. Talking about speaking positive things into your future and into your life. But you got to do that when it comes to insomnia too. You got to speak. I will be rested. I will have good rest. I will have good sleep. All right. We're just going to wait just a few more seconds here and then we're going to go ahead and get started. Just grab my notes here. All right. Did you guys know that a lot of folks actually are dealing with insomnia? So that's why we're picking this topic today, because a lot of people have trouble sleeping. A lot of people. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Again, you all know who I am. I'm Dr. Nicole, your board certified family physician. I manage, treat, and prevent chronic medical conditions and explain those conditions to people in terms that they can understand. I help pastors who are overworked, overstressed, and overstretched to transform their mind, body, and spirit through my books, my seminars, and my concierge medical practice so that they can be better informed and better equipped to take care of their congregations, their families, and their communities all around them. I appreciate you all for joining me today, and I ask that you would follow me on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Dr. Nicole D.O. That's DrNicoleDO. All right, well, let's get to it. Let's talk about insomnia. What is insomnia? Insomnia basically is problems or the lack of sleep, not being able to fall asleep. Okay, so we know that between 3 and 5 million 3 million Americans have reported dealing with insomnia. 5 million worldwide in some point in their lives have dealt with insomnia. Can you believe that? Those numbers are huge. You know that they recommend that for adults we get anywhere between 8 to 10 hours of sleep. I don't know of many people that actually do that, and so because there's just a lot going on and we have more things planned for what we have hours in the day. But it is so crucial that you get your sleep. Your sleep impacts everything in your life. Your sleep impacts your mental state. Your sleep impacts your ability to get along with others. Your sleep impacts your concentration. Your sleep impacts your blood pressure. In fact, impacts your diabetes, your sugars. It impacts your weight. And so when you have lack of sleep, all of these things can be a problem. So what are some of the complications that come along with insomnia? Well, like I just said, the psychological problems are the really big ones that we see. So people can have depression. Just think about it. If you can't fall asleep and you're tired all the time, that can make you feel pretty depressed, right? You can be anxious. You can have anxiety. You can have slowed reaction time. They've done studies where people who don't get sleep, they put stuff on the screen and people have to react to it, and it slows their reaction time down. We also know that when you're tired, like let's say you're driving and you're tired, then you can't react to, like let's say a car's coming at you. You can't react as fast or as well when you're tired, when you haven't gotten sleep. We've seen lowered performance. So people on the job are not able to keep up. Sometimes if they have a job where they have to do things quickly, they have to move quickly, they're not able to move quickly. They have slower performance times. They have slowed down production. We also know that lack of sleep impacts your immune system. So when you are not getting good sleep, your body can't fight against coughs and colds and viruses and bacteria, as well as when you have adequate sleep. Sleep is that time where your body resets, it renews, it gets ready for the next day. Okay, so if you're not resetting and renewing, then you're kind of running on empty. Think about driving a car with no gas. Okay, it's not going to go, and eventually your body's the same way. You don't get sleep, you're going to slow down and you're going to run down, and then you're going to stop eventually. Okay, other complications of insomnia include high blood pressure and diabetes. So because your body's endocrine system and your regulation system can't regulate as well, so your sugars can go up, you can have more infections, and then your blood pressure can go up. We do know that people who can't sleep well, sometimes we know that sleep apnea is associated with high blood pressure. So people who have sleep apnea, who are not getting good oxygen when they sleep, their blood pressures are higher. So we see hypertension in people who are not sleeping well. All right. And of course, then that increases your risk of heart disease. Okay. We also know that obesity can be related to lack of sleep. Okay, so like I said, your sleep is that time for your body cells and system to renew itself. And so if you are not sleeping and you're not renewing, your metabolism is going to tank. Okay, it's going to go way down. And if your metabolism goes down, then you're not burning those calories, you're not burning that fat, and then all of those calories and extra fat is just kind of sticking on you, and then you can have more obesity. All right, so those are some of the complications of insomnia. So what causes insomnia? Well, there's a lot of things. The main ones that I've seen are stress. Okay, so when you're stressed out and you've got a lot going on, a lot on your plate, a lot on your mind, and you try to go lay down to sleep, and your mind is just going. You're thinking about what do I have to wear tomorrow? Did I pack the kids' lunch? What are my bills looking like? Did I finish my homework? Did I get things turned in time? Did I finish that project at school or at work? Did I get the things done for the community that I needed to have done? So your mind is just going. Your mind can't quiet down long enough for you to fall asleep. So stress and your mind racing is a very large cause of insomnia. Other causes of insomnia, like I said, the inability to fall asleep, can be certain medications. We do know medications like amphetamines or medications that you're taking to increase your metabolism or increase your concentration. Those can negatively impact your sleep. So you really need to work with your doctor to make sure that you are taking your medication at the correct time. There are some blood pressure medications too that can some that can make you fall asleep and some that can keep you awake. So you need to work with your doctor specifically. Don't just take a prescription from your doctor, okay? You need to be having a conversation with your doctor how they want you to take it and when they want you to take it, because certain medications can cause and impact insomnia, okay? And then if you're having a problem with a medication as it relates to sleeping, talk with your doctor before you just change it around, because we don't want you just changing your medicines without talking to your doctor. And of course, never stop a medication without talking to your doctor. All right, we do know that certain illnesses can impact ability to sleep. So when you are ill, when you are sick, when you are hurting, when you've got pain somewhere, when you've got neuropathy, when you've got elevated blood sugars or dropped blood sugars, when you've got elevated blood pressures, when you've got headaches, when you've got sinus congestion and problems, you're dealing with coughs and colds, you've got chronic illness, any illness can impact your ability to sleep, okay? We also know that things that we take in our bodies can impact our ability to sleep. So things like caffeine. People say that they could drink a cup of coffee before they go to bed. I don't see how you could do that, because that caffeine can negatively impact your ability to sleep, okay? So you drink that cup of coffee, even sometimes drinking some tea before bed can make falling asleep harder, okay? So just a real quick recap. The causes of insomnia: stress, your mind racing, medications, illness, and caffeine are just some of the reasons why we can't fall asleep. All right, so let's say we figured it out now. I'm saying, okay, doc, I'm having trouble falling asleep, okay? So when you go to your doctor, and this is something that you do want to go and speak to your doctor about sooner than later, because you don't want all of those complications that we discussed to come on. The longer you wait, the more complications you'll have. So the things that your doctor's going to ask you is, what type of insomnia do you have? So the ways that insomnia can affect you: is it that you have trouble falling asleep? So that's when you're just laying there and you can't fall asleep. Your mind is just racing, or you just can't fall asleep at all, okay? Or you go to lay down at 9 or 10 o'clock and you don't actually end up drifting off to sleep until 3 or 4 o'clock. That's when we say you have trouble falling asleep. Now, some people don't have any trouble falling asleep, but they have trouble staying asleep. So they go to sleep at 9 or 10 o'clock when they go lay down, but then they wake up at 1 or 2 in the morning, and then they can't fall, they can't go back to sleep. So the other problem we see is the ability to fall back to sleep. So let's say you've got some prostate issues, or you've got some other issues that make you wake up in the middle of the night. A lot of times we see that with people going to the bathroom frequently. Then they have trouble falling back asleep when they've already been asleep, okay? So, and why your doctor's going to ask you about the kind of insomnia you have is because the type of medication or treatment that they're going to put you on is very important to know. Do we need to put you on something to help you fall asleep, to help you stay asleep, or to help you go back to sleep once you're already sleeping, okay? So since we're talking about medications, there are multiple medications for the treatment of insomnia. A lot of times I like to tell folks, let's first start off with some of the natural things. Some things like melatonin is a natural supplement that you can get that does help you fall asleep, okay? It works in the brain, on the neurotransmitters in the brain, and it helps to kind of quiet things down so that you can fall asleep. You need to speak with your doctor before you take melatonin, even though it's over the counter. Speak with your doctor before you take it so that it doesn't interact with anything else that you're already on, okay? Other medications for falling asleep, a lot of people want to jump straight to things like Ambien or Valium or benzodiazepines, but those things, although they can help you fall asleep, they are not without their side effects, and those can be kind of addictive, so we don't want to just jump straight to that. This is the other reason why you want to have a talk with your doctor, and you need to be able to talk with your doctor because they need to get some other information. They need to see if there's any other what we call comorbidities or any other problems, because sometimes if you've got more than one problem, then we can treat all those problems with one medication. For instance, let's say you've got some chronic headaches. If you got chronic headaches and you're dealing with the insomnia, then a medication such as Elavil can help with headache prevention, and it can also help with falling asleep, okay? Also, if you've got, let's say you've got some depression or anxiety, and then you've also got the insomnia, and a lot of times we see insomnia, depression, and anxiety all kind of together. They all come together, but then we can put you on a medication called a serotonin a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. That's a long name, right? SSRI is the abbreviated term that we use. Those are things like Paxil and Prozac, or an SNRI, which is a selective norepinephrine reuptake inhibitor. And these medications can help kind of quiet down the mind, help treat the anxiety and the depression and the insomnia. Now, I've got some patients that take those medications and they say that they keep them up. So if you are being treated for depression or anxiety and you're finding that you have trouble sleeping, sometimes it's because the time that you took your medication is incorrect. So you need to speak with your doctor about when to take your medication, all right? There are some other medications that we can give for sleeping, specifically for sleeping, things like trazodone, things like Ambien, things like benzodiazepines. But like I said, we don't want to just jump to those because a lot of those have side effects, things like sleepwalking, sleep eating, and they can be kind of addictive. So we don't want to necessarily just jump straight to the big guns, all right? We want to try some natural things first. All right, so what are some natural things that you can do to treat insomnia? One, like I said, limit your caffeine. So we know, I mean, some people just need that cup of coffee in the morning or need that cup of tea. But if you limit your caffeine, then that can help you with insomnia. Even though we want you to exercise, we don't want you to exercise an hour before bedtime, because once you're exercising and your body is up and running and the cells are up and running and things are going quickly, then it's hard for that body to kind of calm itself and slow down. So an hour before bedtime, make sure that you're exercising before that hour before bedtime, all right? Things like a hot bath, that can help to relax you. I also tell my patients to put a little lavender in the bath, or a little lavender oils in the bath. That also helps to relax. I also tell folks you can get the lavender spray and spray your sheets. That also helps you to calm down and to kind of slow things down so that your body can relax and go to sleep. Chamomile is another one. So you can get chamomile in your water. Like I said, you want to limit your caffeine. So if you're going to drink a chamomile tea, make sure it's a non-caffeinated chamomile tea. All right. Sleep hygiene tips. You want to sleep in a quiet room. So you don't want to have a radio blasting. You don't want to have the TV on. You don't want to have a lot of noise. You want to have a nice quiet room. You also want to have a dark room. So if you've got to get the blackout curtains, get the blackout curtains. You want to shut the door. You want to turn all the lights off. You want to try and even make sure that your cell phones are turned over so that the light from the cell phone is not bothering you. Things that are plugged in, that those are not bothering you. Even sometimes a clock can be enough to distract you, to cause problems falling asleep. And again, like I said, the melatonin is a great way to help you fall asleep. Again, have your doctor check your medications to make sure that none of the medications are contributing to your insomnia, and make sure that you're taking the medications at the right time, so that, let's say you're taking one of your blood pressure medicines right before bed, earlier in the day, but that one can help with insomnia. Maybe your doctor can switch you to taking that one at night. Or if you're taking a medication that can keep you up, then maybe your doctor can switch you to taking it during the day so that it's not affecting you at night. All right. Another big one, of course, is eat a healthy diet and exercise regularly, just not an hour before bedtime. All right. And then the biggest one is deal with your stress, anxiety, and depression. I know that's a huge one. I know we've all got a lot on our plates. We've got a lot going on. We've got a lot that we're dealing with, where some of us are taking care of kids. We're taking care of our homes. We're taking care of the job. We have projects on the job. We have homework. We're in school. We have community projects. We have projects that we're taking on our own, plus having some self-time, some me time. And like I said, sometimes there's not enough hours in the day. But I can tell you this, the more you try to do, you actually worsen insomnia because you can't slow your mind down. All right. So you've got to schedule in time to rest. We say 8 hours of sleep is what you should be shooting for. Adults, 8 hours of sleep, 8 to 10 hours of sleep. If you can't get there, start trying to give yourself more time to sleep. All right. So that's just what I wanted to talk about today. Insomnia. And what you can do to help with it. We talked about the causes of insomnia: stress, medications, illness, caffeine, a racing mind. We talked about the kinds of insomnia: trouble falling asleep, trouble staying asleep, falling back to sleep. We talked about the different medications that we use to treat insomnia. And then we talked about those tips, natural tips to help you with insomnia, like limiting your caffeine, not exercising an hour before bedtime, a hot bath with lavender, using chamomile, having a quiet room with no noise, with no TV. You want to turn the cell phone lights off. You want to turn sometimes the dimmer on your electronics down. You want to have your doctor check your medications. You want to try something natural, things like melatonin, if your doctor is okay with that. And then you want to eat a healthy diet. You want to exercise, and you want to deal with stress, anxiety, and depression. All right. I thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Dr. Nicole, your board-certified family physician. I help people manage, treat, and prevent chronic medical conditions, and I explain those conditions in terms that you can understand. I also help pastors who are overstressed, overstretched, and overworked to transform their mind, body, and spirit through my concierge medical practice, my books, and my seminars, so that they can have a greater impact on their communities, their congregations, their children, and those all around them. Thank you so much again for joining me today on our weekly Talk with the Doc session. I'd appreciate if you join me next week at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Each Sunday, we talk with the doc. We come with your questions, and we hopefully give you some information and some tips on chronic medical conditions and how you can treat them. Also, if you'd like to have a meeting with me on my Facebook page, there is a link now that you can book a session with me so that you can have more time to get some specific questions answered. If you want to have some chronic medical conditions treated, if you want to become one of my patients, if you want to have an acute issue treated, I do offer telemedicine through an urgent care. So if you have any of these questions, or if you just want to get a session with the doc, I even offer a free 10-minute session where we'll answer a question for you. Then you go onto my page, click on the Book Now session, and you can book a session with me. All right. Again, I'm Dr. Nicole D.O. Thank you so much for joining me. Follow me on Facebook, and I will see you next week for Talk with the Doc. Bye-bye.